Welcome back to another stream, another wrestling talk discussion. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark YouTube channel, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. And today I'm going to be talking about the new Undisputed Title. So they introduced the Undisputed Title on SmackDown, and nothing about it screams quality, in my opinion. I think everybody can agree that this recent design looks lazy. It looks exactly the same as the past, world championship designs, the Universal title and the WWE title. They look exactly the same, just a different color scheme. You just got gold painted in the middle, and that's it. And then you're going to call it the Undisputed Championship. Doesn't surprise me that they didn't put no effort into creating a brand new title for Roman Reigns. But I have to say that it serves a purpose. The belt may look trash, right? The same design, the same outlook. But when you really think about the title itself, the Undisputed title, it actually is the Undisputed title. Because you win both the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship, you're technically the Undisputed Champion. You won both of the main world belts. You won both world belts, world title belts, right? The top two belts in the company. You're the Undisputed Champion. But let alone, not just that, but you have passed 1,000 days as champion. Like you entered unfamiliar territory when you reached levels like Bob Backlund, Pedro Morales, Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, and Roman Reigns is pretty much up there with all those guys and their title reigns. Because this is the longest title reign in the modern era. And Roman Reigns, say what you will about Roman Reigns. He did something that no wrestler of the modern era has done. He has reached a new level. He reached a level that hasn't been reached in 27 years? Over 3 decades? He pretty much reached legendary status. He reached legendary status. His reign is pretty much close to Hulk Hogan. Bruno, Pedro Morales, and Bob Backlund. I think he passed Pedro Morales. Or he's going to pass Pedro Morales, and that means he will be behind Hogan, Bob Backlund, and Bruno. But that's already an impressive, accomplishment, an achievement. Because, back then, wrestling wasn't really competitive. Wrestling wasn't big as it is now. Back then, there wasn't a whole bunch of territories or a lot of opportunities in wrestling per se. So a Bruno Sammartino holding the WWE Championship for a long time wasn't any surprise. There was no surprise about that. Hogan holding the belt for over 1,000 days was not a surprise because no one was really as big as Hogan at that point in time in the 80s. Hogan was so big in the 80s, no one could really touch him. You know, a lot of guys that were champion for over 1,000 days, you couldn't touch them. You could not really lace their boots. Back in the day, there's no touching those guys because they had already reached legendary status. And they had to be over. They had to be well known. And in that case, guys like Bruno, Hogan, Bob Backlund, they were over. Pedro Morales, they were over. These were big top names in the wrestling industry at that point in time. So Roman Reigns has reached that level that no modern wrestler today could reach. Not even a Brock Lesnar. You would think someone like Brock Lesnar would be a champion for over 1,000 days. Now, I could see that happening. Where Brock Lesnar would be a champion for 1,000 days. I could envision that. But this undisputed title had to be introduced. Because, you talk about Roman Reigns holding both the WWE title and the Universal title, right? Now, he was Universal Champion longer, if I'm not mistaken. He won the Universal Championship back in 2020. And then he only became the Undisputed Champion WrestleMania of last year, 38. So over a year as Undisputed Champion, but champion overall for over 1,000 days. It would make sense. It would make sense for them to give him a new belt, just one belt, right? That overall symbolizes his reign as the Undisputed Champion. Like you're talking about being Undisputed Champion, World Champion for over 1,000 days. For Roman's character, he doesn't need the WWE title. He doesn't need the Universal title. He don't need those titles. In his mind, he can think he's too good for those titles. So let's just combine both these titles into one. Let's combine both the WWE title lineage and the Universal title lineage into one title. And that's pretty much what they did. Now, they're not acknowledging, they're not going to recognize the WWE Championship lineage or the Universal title lineage, which they should. When it comes to the Universal title lineage, Finn Balor was the first Universal Champion. And come to think of it, there wasn't a whole bunch of Universal Champions. Let's be clear about that. You had Finn Balor, you had Kevin Owens, you had Goldberg, Brock Lesnar held it for a long time. After that, Roman won it, then he had to relinquish it. Brock won it again. Seth Rollins won it. Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Goldberg again, then Braun Strowman, and then Bray Wyatt again, and then Roman Reigns took over. He took over and has been Universal Champion since, right? Since August of 2020. So they're not going to recognize it, but as fans, as wrestling viewers, I mean, we know. You combine the WWE title and the Universal title into this one title. It's part of the lineage of both titles. Both title lineages are combined into one. So it should still continue the lineage of the WWE title and the Universal title. Right? That would make the most sense. Basically Roman Reigns, he created a new standard. I think every wrestler going forward, if they reach or pass 1,000 days as world champion without ever losing it, they cannot lose their title. They have to hold it on for 1,000 days or more. Because once they reach 1,000 days, they're on the level of Roman Reigns, Pedro Morales, Hogan, Bruno, Bob Backlund. They should introduce that championship holder, that title holder, a new title with a much better looking design every time, because that's a major achievement for that wrestler. Because in that wrestler's mind, they should think, well, I held on to this belt for over 1,000 days. I should no longer even hold on to this belt because I'm too good, and I'm too good to be holding on to this belt. Y'all should give me a new title that symbolizes my record-breaking reign as champion. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. Every wrestler that passes 1,000 days or reached 1,000 days as champion, they should be given a brand new title, right? You can call it the Undisputed Champion, and yeah, you can still call it the Undisputed Champion, right? Because at this point, there's no going back from that. There's no going back from this design. You can't just go back and call it the WWE Champion again. No. What's the sense? You already got rid of the WWE title and the Universal title. Well, both of those titles are combined into one now. So that's both the lineages are part of this new belt. So whoever reaches 1,000 days again, which probably won't happen for another 10 to 20 years, let's be real. It probably won't happen. Let's just say, for example, Braun Breaker reaches 1,000 days as the Undisputed Champion, right? Let's say he reaches 1,000 days as champion or past 1,000 days. That's going to be talked about, and that's going to be celebrated, of course, right? Because you're entering into a rare list of guys that have been only able to, be champion for that X amount of days. You got to think, 1,000 days, that's more than 3 years, guys. 1,000 days is more than 3 years. That's impressive. So they should be automatically, like Braun Breaker, he should be given a brand new title and a much better looking one too. Like, he should retire that old design, still call it the Undisputed Champion, of course, because that was a standard set by Roman Reigns of the modern era, right? You still keep the same name of the title, but change the design. Get rid of the plastered, colored WWE logo in the middle. Get rid of that design and come up with a whole new design. Like, the World Heavyweight Championship looks amazing. It looks amazing because it's a brand new design. This ain't nothing. This right here ain't nothing. So if someone like a Braun Breaker were to reach 1,000 days as champion, he should, for his achievement, for him accomplishing that feat, that only few wrestlers were able to do, automatically he should be rewarded a new title design, right? And every wrestler that reaches that milestone should have a new title design or be introduced a new title design, because for their achievement, it's like they're too good to be holding on to this title. They got to level up now. They leveled up, so now we gotta give him a new title design to kind of like symbolize or cap off his 1,000-day title reign, right? For him pretty much reaching that milestone. So that's just an idea going forward. Like I said, the title design looks lazy, looks trash, but it serves a purpose. And Roman Reigns created a new standard of reaching 1,000 days, being the first modern era wrestler to reach 1,000 days as champion. So whoever does it again the next 20 years or so, maybe sooner, who knows, they can have a different title design, given to them, right? But this title right here, in my opinion, should continue the lineages of the Universal title and the WWE title. I mean, that's the only logical thing to do. You don't just remove and eliminate and forget about the history of the WWE title. That would be dumb. That would diminish what Hogan did. That would diminish what Bruno did. That would diminish what Pedro Morales did. That would diminish Bob Backlund's reign. It would diminish the reigns of Hogan, Bob Backlund, Pedro, and Bruno. Many others like Triple H, John Cena, Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. It would diminish the reigns of all those guys, all those wrestlers. So you don't want to just completely forget about the WWE history, the WWE Championship history, the lineage. And the same thing goes with the Universal Championship lineage. You don't want to just completely forget about that. But that's just my opinion. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Do you think that Roman Reigns created a new standard with this new undisputed title for his character, because he's so narcissistic and he's so full of himself, it's good for his character, and I'm too good to hold on to both of those belts. I'm too damn good to just be holding on to the WWE title and the Universal title, because no one has been able to beat me for those titles. So let me just get rid of these titles and let me just have a new title that symbolizes my entire reign as undisputed champion, because I reached a big milestone. So why not? So going forward, I think every wrestler should do that reaches 1,000 days or more. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, let me know y'all thoughts down in the comment section. I know a lot of y'all think this title looks lazy and it's whatever, But this is the Rational Wrestling Mark YouTube channel, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. And make sure y'all like for the algorithm, subscribe today, and I'm out. Peace.